this is what happens to women over 50 who walk a lot. He goes, this is what happens to them. And I said, all right, so what should I do? And he said, well, just stop walking. So I don't know, while I was lying there and he was doing the injection, I thought of you and I thought, actually, I know where I'm going to go and get another second opinion. I'm going to go to MD Health. I used to think if I do weights, I'm going to end up like Schwarzenegger. Do you know what I mean? We just want to be thin. We don't want to eat. We worry about the scales. And I really think that's changing because muscle
Yeah.
is really a longevity hack, isn't it?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the show that helps you become more confident in your body so you can keep doing the things that you love. My name is Michael Dermansky. I'm Senior Physiotherapist at MD Health. And today I've got a special guest on the show, Tania Cicmil, who's a mindset coach and from Mindstate Coaching. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. So
Thank you.
what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about why people seek a second opinion. And I guess that's when we started working together about a year ago now, where you had an issue and you were told quite a few things, which I'll let you go through yourself.
Yeah.
And then you said that, no, I'm not happy with that too. I'm going to go for a second opinion. Well, let's start from that. From your perspective, why did you seek our help and why did you decide to get a second opinion?
Okay. So I had surgery probably about, I think it was November 22. So November 2022. And because of that surgery, it was a prolapse that I had. They fixed it. That was all great. And I wasn't allowed to do anything for about the first 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was able to start walking a little bit more and stuff like that. But I had to gauge it. Anyway, fast forward at about, what are we now, 25? So fast forward about 2 years.
Yeah.
I was kind of off and on with going back to my normal exercise, and then I felt pain. So then I'd stop, and then it was kind of off and on. But the one thing that I kept doing the whole way through was walking.
Yeah.
And 2 years in, so around the time, just before probably I started coming to you, I started to have extreme pain in my hips. And it'd be like shooting pain down my legs. And even when I lie down, when I go to sleep all night, whatever side I turn on, I'd have pain down my legs, lower back pain, and hip pain. And it felt like it just came out of nowhere. I don't know where it came from. It started to get painful when I walk, and then it just kind of progressively got worse.
Yeah.
So obviously I went to the doctors, and the GP told me one thing. This is 100. I can't even remember all the diagnoses, but I had a few. And every doctor thought, yep, this is 100% what it is. So they sent me for an x-ray thinking I had arthritis or bursitis or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And so nothing would come of it. And she gave me anti-inflammatories, which just made my stomach upset, but nothing was helping.
Yeah.
I kept walking and then it just got less and less and I was walking less and less. So I went back again. So you were probably not my second opinion, about my third or fourth opinion.
And that's
But when the next time that I went to the doctors, they said, well, no, it's not that. It's probably tendonitis. You're going to have to go and have an ultrasound and get a steroid injection, like a cortisone injection.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, okay, but can I walk then? Can I exercise? Will it get rid of my lower back pain? They couldn't really answer any of those questions. They were just kind of focusing on this one area in my hip on the right side. But in all honesty, I felt sore everywhere.
Yeah.
Like both hips, the back, down my legs. I couldn't walk. It was getting to the stage where I'd get out of the car and I'd be so stiff, or in the morning. Anyway, and I remember going to have the ultrasound, and I was asking the guy that was doing the injection, and I said, well, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And he said, oh, how old are you? And I said, oh, I don't know, I was 55 then. And he said, well, this is what happens to women over 50 who walk a lot. He goes, this is what happens to them. And I said, all right, so what should I do? And he said, well, just stop walking. You've got to mix it up a little bit. You can't walk as often. You can't walk as much as you used to walk. Anyway, I remember in that moment, I just thought, I don't accept this. I think this is a lot of crap. I just don't accept this.
Yeah.
And I thought of you because our history goes back about 20 years ago when I originally started coming to you in Templestowe.
Yeah.
And I was just basically going to you for fitness, for Pilates. I did your program, 13-week program. And I remember in that 13 weeks, I lost like 6% body fat. And that was in my 30s. And it was a very different experience to this time when I went to see you.
Yeah.
So I don't know, while I was lying there and he was doing the injection, I thought of you and I thought, actually, I know where I'm going to go and get another second opinion.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to MD Health. And so I remember I booked in with you and you were the person that did my full body assessment. And I remember you spoke my language. So everything that I asked you, you just gave me such a positive answer. Like, absolutely, this is fixable. Absolutely, you can walk again. Absolutely, you'll be able to. That's why you're in here, so that we can get you doing all those things.
Yeah.
And it was literally music to my ears. So I've been, how long there now? For just
It's
over a year.
Yeah.
Consistently. I don't miss unless I'm really sick. Yeah, I've been going there consistently. I don't think I've missed not even a handful of sessions. I've
Yeah.
committed. I've done everything you've told me to do, and I'm completely 100% pain free. And I treat MD Health like my gym now. So I'm doing weights, squats, all these things that I never thought I'd be doing ever again.
Yeah.
And I do like roughly about 15,000 steps a day. So I'm walking definitely
So,
around Templestowe.
well, it's interesting because you were told you can't do this and you can't do that too. I
Yeah.
mean, then, that is, I mean, I'm saying second opinion. You see that I was the third or fourth one that we
Yeah.
see sort of well, and that's not an unusual story. But I mean, if with most musculoskeletal problems as well, usually if you're not seeing a result by about 7-8 weeks, something's not right. This is a good time to get someone else's opinion as well. And it unfortunately does mean you have to go 3-4 places as well to get an idea of what direction you should be going as well.
Yeah.
It's not always the most obvious thing as well, but usually you'd expect to see some degree of healing, some degree of change in that period of time, because there's a certain time frame things take. If it's a new injury, there's a certain scar tissue that will form, and that takes a certain process. So if you said, I can't walk up 2-3 weeks, I'd say, Tanya, it's too early. You can't tell yet.
Yeah.
But you'd waited that period of time. You'd done that. There should have
Yeah.
been a change by that stage too.
Yeah.
And so that's a real big deal. The other thing about that too is that if you need a clear idea where you're going. So even if the diagnosis is completely wrong, at least they know what's the problem isn't, rather than just what it is. So
Yeah.
there's a finite number of things that are going to go wrong. It's not everything, but a certain amount of things that are going to go wrong. And if you haven't got a clear idea of what's going on, it's very hard to get a direction of what to do, because the approach for what you're describing to be is it's a glute medius tear. So everything that you've said so far is very consistent for a tear in the glute medius muscle as well. And the management of that is very different. So if it's a hip impingement problem. So they're the same areas, they'll feel fairly similar, but the stories are very different. The management's very different as well. So I mean, we're encouraging people that if they haven't got a clear idea of what direction they're going, if they feel like they haven't been heard, or if it's been a reasonable amount of time, about 7-8 weeks, and they're not getting an outcome, at least a change, then it's time to get a second, third, or fourth opinion. That something may not be right. There might be a different direction that would be better for you.
That's right.
Well,
Yeah, no, it was
yeah,
interesting. And when I started with you, I remember the most fascinating thing was that it seemed like you knew exactly what was going on. And up until that point, everyone that I went to was pretty vague. And no one actually gave me treatment per se, besides that it was more about managing pain through anti-inflammatories and obviously the cortisone injection,
yeah,
and just kept telling me, don't walk, like don't do anything. And I felt, and the more that I didn't do anything, the worse that I got.
yeah.
And then when I went to you, it wasn't like a miracle magical pill. I just trusted, what you were telling me to do. And there's sometimes, you were getting me to do an exercise and I'd kind of look at you and you'd like read my mind and say, you can do this, you can do it. Trust me, you can do it. And so I just thought, well, I'm just going to do exactly what he tells me to do. And it was up and down for the first, 6 or 7 weeks. And then, it wasn't until the full 13 weeks that I started to feel better, a lot better. And then it just progressed. But once I got over the hump of the pain going away, the progression after that just was rapid after that. So maybe it was all that inflammation had to go away and stuff like that, whatever was going on there, I don't know. But all 13 weeks. So you nail it when you say, you should come for 13 weeks. There's a reason for that.
There's a reason for
Like,
that. And then
absolutely.
There is I mean, they're not random numbers that you're calling out to.
Correct. Yeah.
3 months is how long it takes muscles to build up. Like the first 6 weeks of any exercise program is the nerves become more efficient in the area. So you actually haven't grown anything yet. All that happens is the nerves become more efficient, they're more effective in their contractions, and
Yeah.
then only after that the muscle growth actually occur. With musculoskeletal problems like this, it just takes time for those areas to build up. There's no pill that will make that happen faster. You're just going to give the right load, the right time, and the right push at the right times as well. So as you said, you said you weren't sure you were able to do this. I said, try, you can do it. I know you can do it, because those choices of those exercises at the time were like, okay, this is where Tanya's at. She's gotten up to this level. She's got this level of strength. I need to push her just a little bit more. It's a little bit more than what she can do, but not too much. And that balancing act is a real sweet spot where change is going to occur. So changes occur in muscles when you don't do something. Change occurs when you load it. So you need to make those areas stronger. You need to give it enough load to stimulate it to grow, and then but not go too far. It's more than it can. It's more than it can repair or break down, and just progressively make that a little bit layer on layer on layer, and that's how growth occurs. So
Yeah.
all this is happening on the surface. So when we do any exercise with anything, like you talked about a hip problem, but it could have been anything. That doesn't change. You need
Yeah.
to load the area up enough to stimulate growth, not too much that it damages it, and then just progressively layer on layer on layer and make it a little bit harder. And then that 13-week mark that you said is an absolute sweet spot, because it takes 3 months to build up muscle strength. And so
Yeah.
the story that you're describing is just working with the biology and how it works, as opposed to trying to fight it like, oh, I want the pain to go into a day by having an injection. That's great, but nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Nothing has actually physically changed on the surface. So it's not going to get better. All you've done is potentially mask the problem. And then, as you've been told, don't walk or don't do these things. Well, it's not going to get stronger from that. It's going to get weaker, because
Yeah.
your body's very good at adapting what you ask it to do. If you load it up, it'll get stronger. If you deload it, it will say, well, I don't need this tissue. I'm going to break it down. Better off using it for food. So it responds to exactly what you ask it to do. And, and the lucky thing is you had the patience and say, I'm going to do this at the volume required to twice a week. And now you're coming 3 times a week. And for the time period, which was 3 months, to see that change. And then, it felt like a switch changed. At 3 months, I could do all these things. Well, it's not magic. It's just using biology to its advantage, that this is the time required. And then we
Yeah.
layer on top of that too.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, you've got to also, I think, when you're in the classes, so I could have gone to a Pilates class somewhere
Yeah.
else, like a group Pilates.
Yeah.
But what I found was the most reassuring, because when you get to a point where everything hurts and you can't walk,
Yeah.
it's really kind of frustrating and also a little bit scary, because you don't know what's going on and why has this started to happen.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, I always tell everyone that I refer to you, just do what they tell you to do. Your program is specific for you. They have their little computer there and they're going to the computer and then they're telling you what to do and then going to the computer. It's, even though we're all together there, but everything is personalized. And so I think you just got to be patient, trust the process, be consistent 100%, and use that 30 minutes to your advantage. So I always say, give it your all in that 30 minutes. Do it as perfectly as you can, because it's really worth it. And like I said, once you get over like this hump, it now it's like I'm there being proactive, not
Right.
actually, I feel so good that I'm there now pushing my body even more, like building more muscle and becoming stronger and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of other stuff that we're doing, agility and balancing and all that sort of stuff as well.
Well, let's go
So
through
yeah.
that now. I'm just going to tell the audience as well. I mean, just we're talking to Tania Cicmil. She's a mindset coach, and her company is called Mindstate Coaching as well. But we're talking about her journey, about when she got a second opinion for her hip and pelvic issues as well, that after having an operation as well. And we're talking about how that made a difference, getting a second opinion, and how that journey's changed. So we're going to talk about exactly what you just said. Compared to, I mean, the first aim you had was to get rid of this pain and be able to walk again. We're 12 months down the track, and you've talked a little bit about what you've been able to do. How are your goals changed over that period of time? At the start, it was, I want to get rid of this pain and I want to be able to walk.
Yeah.
How's it progressed from there? And what's it like now?
Yeah. So obviously at the beginning it was it was very interesting because I just wanted to feel like myself,
Yeah.
just be able to walk again. And, like when I say walk, obviously I could walk, but going for a walk, I used to feel a lot of pain in my hips
Yeah.
and in my glutes, and then it would be shooting pain down my leg and stuff like that. So my first initial goal was to um, feel like myself, where I can go for a walk and there's no pain. And over the last 12 months, every time we do an assessment and you guys ask me, all right, what's the goal? What's next? Every time it's in the last, I think, especially the last assessment, where obviously I tell you my goal, but you also assess me and see where I'm at.
Yeah.
I think we're on the same page, the very last assessment that I had, which is I want to build muscle.
Yeah.
So I want to feel really strong. I want to lose more body fat and build more muscle. That's been my goal. And so you guys have modified and adjusted my program where I do a lot of free weights now, as well as the reformer. And it's going amazing because now I think, well, I feel like myself. Actually, I feel better than I felt before.
Yeah.
So my identity has shifted around my physique as well. The way that I look at myself, I thought, well, hang on, maybe I can actually feel better than just like my old self and normal. Maybe I can be a little bit more proactive here. And and it seems to be working, and you guys seem to get me and we work together. So even though you listen to my goal and we are focusing on building muscle, I still do the exercises that I used to do to make sure that my hips are all good and everything like that. So there's this really nice balance between me doing like weights and everything like that, but I still do a lot of reformer to make sure that those hips stay strong, and also everything's balancing the way it's meant to and stuff.
I mean, very interesting what you're saying as well, because we have seen this journey, I've seen over 20 years now too, where, the reason why you people come at the start, you wanted to get rid of just the pelvic and hip pain and be
Yeah.
able to walk. And then as your body shifts, it's very hard to ask you, like, Tanya, 12 months, what do you want to do? What do you want to do from now? And to
Yeah.
say, I want to be able to build muscle growth, and I want to be able to do all the things, and I can go beyond that. I want to feel even better than this as well.
Yeah.
I can't have that conversation with you 12 months
No.
ago because your brain isn't at the right state yet.
Yeah.
But once we get past that 3 month mark and, these aren't as much of a problem, you can make a difference. Then we can start looking at, okay, what do you really want? What's your life really want to look like? And that's when you can start building that. I mean, what you're saying right now, saying that, you want to build up your muscle mass and be stronger as well. 20 years ago, women wouldn't be thinking about this. We would not be talking to women in their 40s and 50s about building muscle mass. It would not be on their radar. But
Mm-hmm.
this is now on the agenda for a lot of women, and it should be.
Yeah.
It's one of the most underestimated and important things women do. Ideally,
Yeah.
worst case scenario, they start in their 40s. Unfortunately, often they start in their 60s and 70s. We would love to see women start doing strength training in their 40s because there's two major things. You build up your muscle mass, which affects your metabolism, and it's a store of protein. Super, super, super important on longevity. The second thing is it is a key time to build up your bone density. Like, as you said,
Yeah.
you're doing squats and lifts. It's not random that we've chosen that in your program. We want you to build your maximum bone density as much as we can, and you need that load through your joints and your bones to stimulate them to grow. Not a short-term thing, but I'm looking at what Tanya's going to be like in 30 years from now, from 40 years from now, and still having the same conversation. I would rather have the conversation, I'm 80 years old and I want to be able to go do this, and that's the way it should be. It should not be a limiting factor. All this stuff is workable.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know, like, there's so much research now, and women need to start as soon as possible building muscle because, females, I don't know if it's like in our mindset, we just want to be thin. We don't want to eat. We worry about the scales. And I really think that's changing because
Yeah.
muscle is really a longevity hack, isn't it? The more muscle we
Yep.
have on our body, the more our body functions, the better our metabolism is. But yeah, definitely we're able to live a more productive and healthy lifestyle for so much longer. So I think, yeah, things have changed over the last 20 years. You're right. And for me, I used to think if I do weights, I'm going to end up like Schwarzenegger. Do you know what I mean? And now, like, I'm thinking I'd be lucky to even get close because the amount of weights I'm going to have to lift to look like that ain't going to happen. So my mindset has shifted. You've completely shifted my mindset on muscle mass and building muscle for longevity. I'm all over it now.
It's
It's all I
so,
want
so,
to
so,
do.
so important.
Yeah.
I mean, just take things in a totally different direction as well. You brought your son in for a second opinion as well.
Yep.
Why and how has this affected his life as well? Because he had very different goals to you.
Yeah. Well, they have been to you before as well because
Yeah,
I've got two boys and they're both adults now, but they've come to you as teenagers because
yeah,
they've had constant injuries through soccer.
yeah,
And so my younger one, who is 25, was playing soccer and his season was cut short because of his injury in his hamstring. And
yeah,
that happened in preseason. So his goals are obviously he ran marathons before and stuff like that. So he's very active, and this active lifestyle has caused certain problems. He goes to the gym all the time, so he's got problems with the shoulder, lower back, and he's loving it. So he's been there, I think now maybe 4 months,
that's yeah,
3-4 months, something like that, and he's now going 3 times a week as well, and yeah, he feels great. So to me, looking at him, because of the amount of workload he was doing through soccer and then
yeah,
starting the gym, he was like there was parts of him that were really weak, and then there was other parts of him that were really strong, and
yeah,
then it was kind of like there wasn't balance there. So
yeah.
injury was more likely to happen, I think. So
And
yeah, so basically he wants to be injury free and be able to do a whole preseason, have a whole season because it's preseason starting in the next couple of months.
yes.
So he can get through a whole full preseason without injury. That's kind of his goal. And yeah,
Um,
he's loving it.
Yeah, it's in he's very different to yours. So as
Yes.
actually you spot on said exactly what needed to work on with him as well is that his program was out of whack, completely out of whack, where he had some really strong muscle groups and some extremely weak ones,
Yeah.
and that balance around his hips, which is really common in soccer football. We see it unfortunately all the time. Where certain things are worked on, and that's part of what they do at soccer. But they miss a lot of the control ones as well. And then in teens and mid-20s, we see all these problems come in. They shouldn't be there, and it's due to a lack of balance.
Yeah.
And so getting a because we weren't. He's obviously seen other people as well. He's got
Yeah. Yeah.
coaches and
Yeah.
so forth.
He went to
Um,
a physio chiropractor, but see, the difference with you guys and let's say going to, someone else is
yeah,
that you give like the exercises you create an environment where you're training these people like us and healing us at the same time, whereas it's very different going to a chiropractor or a physio where they just do treatment. I
yeah,
mean, sometimes, obviously, we go into your treatment rooms as well
yeah,
and have treatment. um, but I think treatment alone, that's what's really, I think where my um, idea of physiotherapy and stuff like that has really changed, where you consider physiotherapy treatment. You lie on a bed and they do whatever they have to do and then see you later. And then you come back again and see you later. But it's, yeah, you got us working from the start. And then if we need to go in the treatment room, yes, you'll adjust something, work on things. You did that with me as well. Yeah. So yeah, he went to the physio, but it went on for months. It went from pre-season all the way to halfway through the season.
yeah.
So it was the same injury the whole time.
Yeah, and then that's where I was talking about 7 weeks as well. So if a good time to get another opinion is that when you've gone for 7, 8 weeks and it's the same injury and it's not changing. I'm not saying it's fixed. I'm saying it's not changing. Something's
Yeah.
not right. You need to look at it a different way because
Yeah.
by that stage, the body's healing mechanism should have kicked in. There should have been a change, and something's not right and it needs to be looked at a different way.
Mm.
And interestingly, as you said, Tanya, as well, physiotherapy. Your thoughts are. And I know it's changed in the whole world. It's changed in the last few years as well. That it's you do treatment with me. Hands-on stuff is treatment. Well, I can't hands-on mobilize, manipulate, massage, strength into you. I can't give you control. I have to make you do it. And your brain has to get
Yes.
used to it. And your muscles have to grow and they have to adapt. There is nothing I can do with these that will give you that strength, control, balance, all those things as well. I have to make you do that stuff to see the change.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for me to say that to you 3 months and 6 months down the track and 12 months down the track because you feel it. But it's that first day when people come in, they've had this problem for a while. It's like, okay, come with this fixed. Now, in 3 months from now, we're gonna be having a very different conversation.
Absolutely.
And to be able to see that far ahead, it's very hard. Unfortunately, then people aren't always told, this is a 3-month problem. Let's have this conversation in 3 months, as opposed to, oh, well, if it doesn't get better in 2 sessions, let's give up and do something else.
Yeah.
Well, it just doesn't match the biology, and so it's not going to make a change.
Yeah. And look, even like going to Pilates, a really interesting story. I went to Thailand. So I'd been going to MD Health probably for about 7 months, and then I went to Thailand. And going to your sessions, there's some exercises that I love, and then some that I love a little bit less. And one of
Yeah.
them is these is calf raises. You're constantly, working on my ankles and
Yeah.
calves and the calf raises and calf raises. And it's so funny because I was in Thailand, and obviously, the footpaths are a little bit uneven and stuff. And I twisted my foot and I hurt it. And like it didn't look good. It did not look healthy or anything like that. But the funny thing is that, like, and I'm not saying everyone probably might experience this, but it was definitely my experience. I remember when I came back and I said, I'll have a look at it. I said, I twisted my foot and I think I twisted my ankle and it looked terrible. And it healed in like rapid speed. It was like in within 10 days. And usually you said an injury by the way, because by the time I saw you, it was fine.
Yeah.
And you said that sort of injury takes 3 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
And I remember when it happened, I said, I bet you it's going to heal. I said to my other son, I said, I bet you it's going to heal really rapidly because I'm doing all these things, calf raises, I'm strengthening my ankles. I reckon this thing's going to heal in no time. And it really did. It was crazy how quickly it healed. But it was almost like I was in training for that to happen. Like if that ever happens, I was sorted because, you just become a lot stronger. And I believe then, if you do hurt yourself or whatever, I think the healing is a lot quicker
It
in
needs to be a
some
lot more.
cases, not probably in all cases, but in my case, definitely.
Well, you would have done the things that you need to do to work on it already. So we've already pre-done those. So once you've hurt yourself, then the
Yeah.
body's healing mechanisms to kick in to heal the acute problem. But all the rehab stuff has actually already been done. It's just a matter of then just letting the body do its job.
Yeah.
A lot
It was
easier.
incredible. Yeah.
I guess I'm going to ask one more question as well in a slightly different way as well. I guess this idea of changing course or changing second opinion as well, from your perspective and from your professional point of view, from a mindset coach, how does that fit into that philosophy? Because this is you acting on your own, I guess, acting on your own advice.
Yeah. Well, I think for anyone who is considering, let's say, I think everyone should consider coming to you, especially women over 50, 100%. Um, but for me, if you're somewhere getting treatment for something, and like you've said it already a few times, it's been longer than 7 weeks. I think you need to listen to yourself intuitively. You know who you are. You know what you're capable of. Just because someone tells you you can't do something does not mean it's true. And that's probably the biggest thing that I would tell people. So if you've got aches and pains and you feel like this doesn't feel like me. I know I can do better, and I know that my body can heal, and I know I should be more active at this stage in my life, and so on and so forth. They definitely should get a second opinion. They shouldn't just take it, you like I was taught, well, you just can't walk every day anymore. And I thought, well, what do you mean? Because I'm thinking if I'm in pain now, what am I going to be like in 20 years' time? I'm not definitely even going to be able to walk. And I just did not accept that.
Yeah.
And so with me as a mindset coach, what I do teach first and foremost before anything else is identity. So that's what I did when I came into you. My identity did not match how I was feeling.
Yeah.
And when I walked into you, you gave me the answers that did match my identity. And I thought, yeah, we're a match. We're gonna make this work.
Yeah.
So after, you fixed me and everything like that, and I had no pain, then I thought, okay, well, what do I want to do now? I want to take this further. I want to, so it's all precautionary and proactive. And so I changed again my identity to somebody who now is athletic, who is fit, who is muscular, who is sporty, who is, you know, that can actually do things that I wasn't doing before, which is I was just walking before. Now I'm squatting 60 kilos.
Yeah.
So my thing is that if your body is not behaving in the way that matches your identity, you know that you don't want to accept this, whatever aches and pains, and you have been going to someone, I think 100% get a second opinion with you because you know what it's about. You know, you can fix things. You know that what's going on and that most things, like you said to me, most things are fixable. Something, not everything,
Not everything.
obviously,
Not everything.
but
Absolutely.
most things are fixable. And even those things that are not fixable, they can get a little bit better, can't they? And even in that case, it's probably going to be a lot more comfortable for that person.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are complicated that we won't be able to fix, but at least
100%.
they're more manageable and you can have a better life. And I
Yeah.
mean, that's the whole reason why you go seek it, at these things. You want to have the life. As you said, your body is not matching the identity you want to be.
Yeah.
And so that's, um, that's not something you have to accept. You can change it. You can work on it. Your body's great at adapting to what you ask it to do. You ask it to do nothing, it'll do nothing. You ask it to push
Yeah.
itself and do more, it will do more. It just has to
Yeah.
be balanced and has to be targeted and a little bit more, you know, strategic about that too. But besides that, it will eventually adapt to what you ask it to do, and
Yeah.
just respect the process, and it will result in the outcome you want it to achieve.
Yeah. And see, the other thing is, so not only, am I pain free now and stuff, but I remember this thing is really interesting is that I used to have aches and pains, not just that. I had, in my neck or in my shoulders or when I wake up in the morning. It just, I only addressed this particular aches and pains because it was really painful.
Yeah,
But it's so funny. Most of us live with little aches and pains, like in their shoulder, in their neck, in their knee, in their lower back. And we don't do anything about it. And now when I think back, when I wake up, I don't have those aches and pains.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And so it's about maybe fixing all those things as well that us women, especially when we get into menopause, we just start getting aches and pains. And it can be managed and in most cases can be reversed and you can start feeling better. And I suppose having more muscle on our bodies will do that. Grow your glutes, girls, grow your glutes because everything's better. And then things like getting up off the couch, getting off from the floor, just just the most simplest things that I used to go, oh, like just sort of now I'm just getting up. And I think you said it to me about a month ago. You said you walk different now.
yeah.
I
You
was
do.
going to put weights back or get some weights or whatever. And you said, you walk different. And I think I do. I've been taking progress photos, and my posture has definitely changed. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. Yeah.
And what was the secret? You were consistent and you put the effort in. That's the magical secret in this whole thing as well. If
Yeah.
there's nothing more complicated than that too. Uh,
100%.
That's
Isn't it? It's very simple.
it's
Just
very
go
simple. Just
and
go and make
work
it
really
simple.
hard. Yeah, while you're there. Because like you say, we make it hard. 30 minutes, by the way. Anyone can do anything for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
You make it really hard for 30 minutes in there. So everything outside of your clinic is easy.
it's easy.
And I 100% took that on board because it's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Tanya, just before we wrap up today as well, anything else you want to finish up with, tell the listeners as well?
Well, no, I think, like I said, I mean, second opinions are really important. Go with your gut. If you feel like you're going somewhere and the treatment is not progressing and you're not feeling any better, I just wouldn't even hesitate. It's a lot of fun too. Like the thing that we haven't said that I think is really important because I'm a real relationships person.
Yeah.
Walking into your clinic, it's like home. It's like that. Cheers. Whenever I used to walk into the pub at Cheers
Yeah.
and everyone knows everyone.
Yes.
That's how the atmosphere is. So it's very comfortable. It's a very warm and inviting place on top of the fact that you guys are super professional. And it doesn't really matter. It's not even just about getting anyone you get, you're all the same.
Yeah.
So it's very, it's a great place to go as well. You feel really welcome and warm and personal. very personalized. So it's a lot of fun. And sometimes there's little dogs running around too,
And those
which
are
is
very great.
fun, which is fun as well. Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
yep, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, well, thank you for that too, Tanya. That's
You're
really good.
welcome.
I mean, it's great. The fact that we've tried very hard, and I'm not just talking about our clinical build, but our aim is to make you guys feel like at home exactly with that too, because we're going to make you do stuff that's going to make you feel uncomfortable, and we're going to make
Yep.
you vulnerable. And unless we create an environment that makes you feel comfortable, I can't ask you to be vulnerable and do stuff that's going to be hard.
Yep.
But that's a balancing act as well, between because we're asking for trust. We have to make you feel comfortable giving us trust so that we can get you to where you need to be. And that often said involves doing stuff that's hard. And that's okay because we need to do the hard stuff to be able to get to the result you want.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true. And thank you for creating an environment like that because yeah, it's quite confronting and when you get older, you just kind of feel like you could be embarrassed to go there and do those things that once upon a time you could do just so much easier and effortlessly and stuff like that. So yeah, getting us on the reformers and doing all those things and but feeling really comfortable and having a bit of fun at the same time is a bonus. It's a real treat. So yeah,
Thank you very much again, Tanya, as well. So
you're
Tanya is
welcome.
a mindset coach from Mindstate Coaching as well.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing your journey and again asking you to be vulnerable and just tell other people what a little bit more about your world and the journey you've gone through as well. And it hopefully means that other women who are in their 50s and say, no, I can do it. This is not my identity.
100%.
I'm better than this. I don't want to accept my body can't do it. It can, and I'm going to put
Yeah.
the effort in to do that. That's really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trust yourself, trust your intuition. And the thing is, there's absolutely nothing to lose. Your full body assessment is free.
Yeah.
So you really are passionate about what you do. And, everyone's got the opportunity to go to you and get a second opinion. And, if you can help them, you'll be very open and transparent about what their journey is going to be. So I don't think there's anything to lose. And thank you for fixing me, and I don't have any pain. And yeah, I love it. And for pushing me, which is great, which is exactly what I want. And so I would say to all women over, especially over 50, who are in, I can only talk for my kind of age bracket. If there's any aches and pains, don't put up with them. Get in the clinic and see what can happen. 100%.
Great. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you very much for your
You're
time.
welcome. No worries. Thank you.